Our next speaker is Elizabeth Wallace, and will her friends stand up here with the tiaras? Yeah. So we got 1.5 tiaras. Okay, all right. Well, it's her birthday yesterday, so let's say happy birthday. Happy birthday. And you're an event producer that weaves stories in astronomy, and we're going to hear a little bit about Galileo and finding our inner Galileo. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. All right. Your last session of the first half.
I didn't know we could use notes, so I'm not. It was so dark. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. I could hear voices all around me, but I couldn't see anybody. And then I saw a bear coming up out of behind the trees. Ursa Major. She was so huge. So I took out some body parts to measure her, and she was 3 fists across. I saw Polaris and Cassiopeia for the first time. And I got goosebumps. I had to drive 3 hours out of DC, up a mountain, down a mountain, up a mountain, down a mountain, up another mountain in order to see them. And I never would have gone there if it hadn't been for a story of 2 star-crossed lovers from Korea. Well, I'm from DC, just like you, and we get to see the moon every night, we get to see the moon every night, but she doesn't usually look like this, but we all have our super perigee moments. But mostly the sky is like a shroud. It's not a bridal veil. And I can count maybe 11 stars when we should see thousands. Washington, D.C. is a white hotspot of light pollution, and West Virginia is a pitch black. I'd like to introduce to you Kyonyu and Shingyu, the 2 star-crossed lovers. I mean, if you think you had bad, difficult relationships, you've never been banished on either side of the Milky Way by the Jade Emperor. But I went to go look for them, and they were masked by Greek mythology. You can see them in Vega and Altair. When I saw them in person one day, it was the 7th day of the 7th moon, and I saw them in person, and I got goosebumps again. But we all look up at the stars, and we see them differently. You might look at these stars and see a dove, a horse, maybe nuclear reactors. But I just want to tell you that every star has not only a corona, but an aura. If we tore down this wall at 8 o'clock tonight, then this is the sky that you would see in DC. And if we were so enthralled by it, and we waited around till midnight, we would see Orion lifting his leg up over the rooftops. But we don't. Look at what we're missing. Maybe that's why we have so many problems here on Earth. We don't remember that there's something bigger than us. Well, what I came here to remind you today is to look up. Put your iPhones down when you come out of work and look up and see what your relationship is with the night sky. Where's the moon? You are all made of star stuff. In every way possible, you are star stuff. So we reminded middle school students of that, and they made up their own sky stories. And they had black holes, and they had galaxies, and they had red supergiants in them. One of them starts with, when there was no day, there was only night. And it was about 2 kids who go out to bring light to the world. And they go across the savannah to find the tallest thing they know, and it's a giraffe. Another story about Betelgeuse, the scientists would tell you, is a red supergiant that is going to go supernova in about 1 million years, give or take. But a little girl made her into a grandmotherly little star that traveled across the universe to travel across to the nebula to make sure she passed on her stories to the star forming to the stars in the nursery. So we took all those stories and we wove them together and we played them at the National Air and Space Museum, so the kids could hear their stories coming from the stars. And we call it storytelling. But as you know, that you've been having some of your own star stories come up. The first time you saw something, the last time you saw it, the only time, the best time, the time that you got goosebumps, those stories are coming up for you just by looking at these pictures, I'm sure. So maybe it was the time that you saw the stars fall into the sea, or the craters on the moon when you looked through a telescope for the very first time, or when you took a trip above the Arctic Circle and saw an aurora, or maybe it's just the Hubble photo that you use as a screensaver. Well, I'm here to remind you that to spark your inner Galileo, those stories that you are remembering right now, and to share them with the people next to you. Because I would like to invite you to ignite the DC sky with your story tonight.